All right. So it was about 10 months ago that the Bengals made the big change and moved on from head coach Marvin Lewis. And now, coming out of the bye week, they will have a new starter at quarterback. Andy Dalton is out, and fourth round rookie Ryan Finley out of North Carolina State is in. So, what does that mean? And is it a new day for real this time in Cincinnati? My name is Matt Minich. This is Bengals Chalk Talk on Orange and Black Insider. Thank you for joining me. Today, we are going to take a look at Finley and what he did in the preseason. Now, the big thing that stands out to me is how Finley deals with pressure. He's not Russell Wilson. He's not a guy who's going to move around a little bit and be able to open up things for himself downfield. And he is certainly not a Lamar Jackson who is going to make big-time plays with his legs. But he is a guy who can subtly move in the pocket and extend the play and turn what could have been negative plays into positive plays. So that is something that really Andy Dalton struggled with this year. And a big thing that I'm hearing from a lot of different fans is, you build around Andy Dalton, get him a line. Nobody could do great with this line. The Packers, like Aaron Rodgers couldn't play behind this line. And not to mitigate the importance of offensive line, because absolutely a problem that the Bengals have, and absolutely a very important part of the game. Andy Dalton is not blameless. He has been pressured less than you think, and still sacked more than just about anybody. He doesn't do anything to help himself out. So Finley could be what the Bengals need right now. Maybe not, probably not a long-term answer. But his poise in the pocket could help them put some things together and maybe win some games here down the stretch. Whether or not that's a positive is something I discussed in an article this week on Cincy Jungle, but not the point of this particular conversation. So, as we get to the Chalk Talk, we'll start with the Kansas City game, the first preseason game. Now, one point I want to make here. Hey, it's preseason. What does it mean? He's playing up against a bunch of backups, third stringers, guys that aren't even making the team. These guys are going to be playing in the XFL. Whatever. I've heard it all. I don't care. And let me give you an example. When you're judging level of play and level of competition, take Jordan Brown, the Bengals 7th-round pick out of South Dakota State. When you look at a guy like that coming out of the FCS, you can say, all right, well, it's hard to judge him because he's going to face faster receivers. He's not facing the fastest receivers, not facing the biggest receivers playing at that level. And that's fair because that's a direct competition. Same thing if you look at an offensive defensive lineman, with Brown, we're talking more about speed. With a guy like with that, we'd be talking about strength with, in the trenches. It's different with quarterback because you know what? Sure, Finley's out there and he's playing against a bunch of guys that probably a lot of these guys aren't on the Chiefs roster right now. But a lot of the guys he's playing with aren't on the Bengals roster right now. So it doesn't really matter because that competition level is even. So as he gets better receivers and the defensive backs get better, it pretty much washes itself out. So let's take a look here in the third quarter. It was the Bengals 1st and 10 on their own 33-yard line. So Finley's going to get pressured here. Play action pass. Andre Smith basically, greets the defensive end at the door and lets him rush on by on the left-hand side. So Finley gets pressured. Now, Jordan Ellis, the running back, a little slow to get out, but he does get out. And then Finley steps back off of his back foot, kind of pops him down the ball. Gain of 3 yards. So not a huge play, but it's a gain of 3 yards, and it could have been a loss of 7. So I would take 2nd and 7 over 2nd and 17 any day of the week. So good play there by Finley. All right, so a couple plays later, and honestly, this isn't terrible protection. The Bengals have 1st and 10 on the 31. They're going in, and Finley drops back. He's got some time, and he doesn't find what he wants. And whether that's him or the receivers, it's hard to tell because they don't give me all 22 film for preseason games. But whatever it is, he starts to get some pressure from the outside, and the pocket starts to collapse on him from both sides. And he ducks down and he takes off, slides, picks up 6 yards. Now there's a hold in the play and ends up negating it, knocking it back to 1st and 20. But decent little instinct there. Hopefully, I'd like to see him finding something downfield, but not taking the sack, which is a win. Which back to first, taking the positive yardage over the sack. Now, later in the game, in that drive, in fact, they got down to the 11-yard line and had 3rd and 6. On the 10-yard line, 3rd and 6. Now, I mentioned that Dalton has struggled dealing with pressure. The Bengals offense as a whole, their 2 biggest problems, and I'm not talking about personnel, I'm not saying the offensive line, whatever, but the 2 situations where they're really struggling are 3rd downs, keeping drives alive, and in the goal line. So this is both, red zone rather than goal line. This is both, though. 3rd and 6 on the 10-yard line. And then we're going to get some pressure. So Finley drops back. He gets pressure from his left. And that defensive end is actually going to kind of reach around, look to kind of grab on him, coming over Smith's back. Barely misses him as he ducks underneath. And so he ducks underneath, scrambles just a tad, and keeps his eyes downfield, finds Jordan Ellis for the check down. So here the check down pans out really well. Throws a 3-yard pass. Ellis runs into the end zone, and that is worth 6 points where I come from. So very good play there. Kept it alive, didn't go the way things were planned, but kept it alive, got the score, converting the 3rd down and scoring the touchdown. 2 things where the Bengals have had some struggles throughout this season. So definitely like to see that kind of poise and understanding of what's going on around him from Finley. Now, it wasn't all perfect. And, here he gets pressured from both sides in the 4th quarter and tries to step up but can't quite escape. So they've got, I believe that's Douglas, whatever his name is, at the right tackle, and he's struggling with the end. And then they try and block the other end with Mason Schreck bringing him across the formation. That doesn't pan out so well. Finley tries to step up in the pocket again and ends up getting grabbed from behind by that defensive end. Now, we've seen the pocket collapsing from both sides. We've seen pressure from the left, pressure from the right. And here it's really that whole right side, getting the guard and the right tackle both struggling. Finley, tries to avoid it. He steps up, looks for his check down. Looks like they actually get a hand on it there, and it ends up going incomplete. And then on the very next play, he's pressured again, right? Go figure. But they are bringing, just a 4-man pressure. It starts to collapse inside on him. He steps forward, eyes downfield, and, delivers what is really a pretty good ball to Stanley Morgan. And Morgan just drops it. So, look, there's somebody breaking on it. So if Morgan catches that, I don't know how much good it's doing him. But, it's a good look for Finley, looking for something to get a positive play. All right, now Finley was able to play much earlier against the Washington Redskins the following week. Got in during the 1st quarter, actually. So higher level of competition, if you can call the Washington Redskins that. But, getting in a little bit sooner. And here's a 3rd and 5. So, again, key situation, 3rd down, area the Bengals have struggled in. Gets pressure, mostly from the left, that hard pressure from the left, but really from his right, and both the guard and tackle are struggling. But feels the pressure coming from his blind side, steps up, finds just a little gap, right kind of where the left guard originated, basically, where he can set up. As the left guard and the center have created a little bit of space for him there. Sets up and throws the ball downfield to Cody Core for a 14-yard gain. So, great job. Took a 3rd and 5 play, dealt with the pressure well, and was able to find a guy downfield and convert it big time first down. So, excellent play there. Definitely something that's going to help the Bengals being able to make plays like that moving forward. So later in that drive, the Bengals had crossed the 50-yard line, putting together a nice little drive. We're going to play action, and then there's a pressure sent up the middle. So there's a blitz coming up the middle. Now this is still Jordan Ellison there, so not a top running back, not Gio Bernard, who knows his protections really well. So Ellis is a little bit slow to pick this up, and really that guy was beelining it. I mean, he was heading right for Finley. And Finley steps to the side, allows Ellis to pick up the block, and then what does he do? He gets his eyes right back downfield. So huge play for Finley. Steps to the side, eyes downfield. He's still got one guy, looking to make the tackle on him, gets the hit on him as he's delivering. Another guy jumping right up in front of his face, trying to deflect it. And what does Finley do? He completes that ball downfield. So, this is a first down play, not a third down, but he's throwing this ball downfield for a 16-yard gain and moving the chains. So great job dealing with pressure and still looking downfield, not taking the sack there. All right. And as the camera from the network focused on the Bengals offensive coordinator and his father, who could certainly help out with some of the Bengals pass protection, issues. The Bengals were actually in a 2-minute drive, 21 seconds left in the half, and Finley trying to keep things alive on 3rd and 3. So take a sack and it's over, right? It's 4th down and the clock's probably going to run out unless they call a timeout. But so again, feeling a little bit of pressure. Pressure coming really from both edges. He steps up into the pocket, delivers the ball down the field to Damian Willis for a 19-yard pickup, and then gets up there real quick to spike the ball. They end up having 4 seconds left on the clock. They're not able to do anything on the final play of the half, but still very good look there very good to keep that thing alive. So that brings us into the second half. And the Bengals had a 1st and 10 on the 25-yard line. Play action pass once again. And, again, it's like a revolving door sometimes from that left tackle position. So they come around the edge, but really about all Andrew Smith does there is force that guy to go wide. So the pressure gets on Finley pretty quickly. He tries to step up, is looking to throw down the field, but the other defensive end is actually looped around in his face, and forces the incompletion on that one. All right, now another check down here, but it's 3rd and 10. So check downs are better than taking sacks, and they can be very positive plays. Let's get the ball in Joe Mixon's hand. But, here, and in this case with Jordan Ellis, it's not enough for them. The Redskins are able to rally to it and make the tackle, so it doesn't really get them anywhere. Pressure's coming largely from the right side, from that right tackle, giving up that edge. And Finley, again, steps up, eyes downfield, finds his check down, and delivers. Don't know what he's reading, what he's looking at, or, how much they're telling him to find his check down when he goes to that progression and feels the pressure, but definitely could have had more on a Mason Shrek. But either way, it's not good enough on third down. He's got to understand that situation and understand, hey, get rid of it, but put it in a position to get them in a position where they can get the first down on that play. Now, the left tackle here has no anchor and gets blown off the ball and pushed into the backfield. Somehow kind of recovers, gets that guy to take a wide path, which actually opens up a lane for Finley. But all in all, I mean, this protection, Finley has a little bit of time. And then he's forced to scramble to work around a little bit. Throws a really good, tight window ball into Drew Sample. So real good job by Finley converting this one. It's a first down play, and he turns it into another first down with a great ball where they get the first fellow rookie there, Sample. So the last preseason game that Finley saw some time in was against the New York Giants. In the second quarter of that game, it's a P&10, first play of the possession, and the Bengals were deep into their own territory back on the 16-yard line. We see a play-action pass, and really the pressure is all over Finley. There's like four guys right up in his business right away. Both edges, two guys coming pretty hard up the middle too. And he doesn't really step into this throw. Like he stays poised, he keeps his eyes downfield, doesn't really step into it. And as a result, he throws a ball back to Damian Willis that is really off target behind him. Now, Willis is a freak when it comes to making these contested catches and jumping for the ball. And, he does a great job with it and ends up being a 33-yard completion, but not a great play for Finley by any stretch. So one of the question marks with Finley is his arm strength. And we see it there that, when he's not able to step into his throw, trying to throw a ball like that, that it ends up being behind the receiver. So great job seeing the rush and, hanging in there and delivering a ball, but the arm strength wasn't really enough for what they needed there. On the very next play, they send a little bit of a stunt. A guy breaks free on his left and starts to crash in on him. So this is something we haven't really seen. We see Finley stepping up in the pocket quite a bit, but on this rep, he is rolling out to the right to avoid the pressure. And you can really get a great idea how you can see how he's keeping his eyes downfield. And he delivers the ball, tries to get it in to Rodney Anderson there. It falls incomplete. So nothing doing there. But, overall good the way he is avoiding the rush and trying to get the ball downfield and pass a first down. So Finley's pocket presence has allowed him to avoid sacks in much of the preseason, but that didn't really work out that way against the New York Giants. And this is the first example. He's actually sacked 3 different times in this game, but run to the play action, and really he can't do anything there. By the time he turns around, there are guys right on him. You see the Mike linebacker coming around the edge and really unblocked, basically, getting in there and getting involved and getting that sack. And he's not the only one that's there either. So between that and the pressure breaking free from the middle, he's toast on that particular play. He's toast on for. So on first down, a little bit later in the game, the Giants sent a pressure, and they actually sent 2 guys off the edge to the right side while starting the defensive line. So Finley reacts to this very well. I mean, and honestly, the line does a decent job of picking it up. Still, they have no anchor, so they're getting pushed back. But there's a body on everybody, which is something for them. But Finley's able to recognize it, see the pressure, see how they're getting pushed there on his right side. Ducks over to the left, eyes downfield, and he finds Daniel Willis again on the sideline there for a 19-yard gain. So good pickup there, good movement within the pocket, and good eyes downfield from Finley while throwing that ball on the run for the first down complete. On the run. Now, this one's pretty frustrating. Later in the drive, nearing the end of the half, and Finley and the Bengals trying to drive down the field, 3rd and 6. Finley sees the threat of the double A gap pressure, moves his running back, puts Anderson up there to pick it up. Smart move. Good job understanding protections. Those guys bail out. The Giants only send 4, and it doesn't matter. Andre Smith at the left tackle cannot get out there, literally lets the guy run right by him, and it's a sack. It's very frustrating because you see Finley's trying to do what he needs to do, and it doesn't do him any good because he doesn't have the protection at all. So he's doing a lot of good things in the pocket that mitigate the problems with the offensive line, but you can only do so much. All right, so whether or not you would call this a pressure, I don't know. But there is a guy getting in on Finley late from the right-hand side here over that right tackle. Finley stands in there, and we see that, the check down can do some good things with a good athlete like he's got with Anderson here and getting in the ball in space where he can make some things happen. So that's what you have when you have a check down with a Bernard, with a Joe Mixon in the game, is the ability to do that. And he's able to get that thing off as the end is coming around, and he's starting to get some pressure from the right-hand side. Ball in space. So here's another example of it just being too much and Finley just not quite being able to escape. They show a double A gap blitz once again and back off once again, but still the 4-man pressure, really pressing those offensive tackles for the Bengals back. Finley feels the Venus flytrap around himself, and the defensive end is actually able to, the left end is able to get off the block from the right tackle as Finley looks to scramble there. So Finley looking to run, definitely looks like he tucked the ball down there and he's trying to take off. They count that as a sack. It's went from 3rd and 3 to 4th and 3. So, I'd call it getting back to the line of scrimmage. But you know what? It's also not getting a first down. So 3rd and 3, got to get the first down. He's got to figure that out. Not able to do that in this particular situation. But, hey, it's preseason, so YOLO. And they're going to go ahead and go for it on 4th down, 4th and 3. Trying to get it to Alex Erickson real quick in the flat. This tends to be the sort of thing they tend to go to on 4th downs. Not that I'd expect anything great game plan or scheme-wise to be revealed in the preseason. But guess what? Now that blitz is coming. Finley doesn't really step into it. He takes a hit on his, really to his back from the left side as he throws the ball out to the right. Doesn't really step into it. And the ball doesn't go quite where he wants it to. So if he steps into this, maybe he can put it more in front of Erickson. Erickson has to kind of come back around, which really puts it where the defender's got a chance at it. Vulnerable ball here. Certainly could have been a pick 6 going the other way in this tie ball game. So definitely some concerns with that one. Overall, though, just kind of looking at the way Finley deals with pressure, he is going to keep plays alive that were not when Dalton was in there. So, just a key thing, an important thing to think about. He's going to keep plays alive. This team has struggled to keep drives alive. Being able to do that, he's going to help out this offensive line, which they're going to be able to move the ball a little bit more, I think. So Finley puts them in a better position, I think, right now to win some games. Again, don't think he's a long-term answer. Don't know about the overall arm strength, but he's a good, solid player, and having him in there could definitely do some good things for the Bengals. So looking forward to this one. Hopefully, getting some players back off of injury. Never know by the time we're recording who's going to be out there for sure, but lots of positive things coming through with the week off. So hoping to have some guys out there, and the Bengals have got to be able to pull something together. And Zach Taylor has got to be able to show some positives, show improvement offensively, defensively. This team needs to get better. Hopefully Finley allows them the opportunity to showcase some of these guys a little more, get a better idea of what some of these guys can do. As AJ Green comes back from injury, how does he look as they try and evaluate young talent? Auden Tate and Stanley Morgan. If Willis is active again at some point, being able to keep the drive alive, keep the play alive in order to get some targets for some of these guys. So I think right now Finley's the best option for them, puts them in the best situation to win moving forward. Round 2 against the Ravens this weekend, after what they just did to the Patriots. A little bit scary, but hey, let's go. Looking forward to it, and let's see what Finley can do out there. And if they can get a little Finley bump, having that new QB and a guy who's kind of an unknown quantity out there, and see what he can do. So, thanks for listening. Make sure you check out all the quality content on Cincy Jungle this week. I've got a couple things myself coming out, but a lot of great writers there, a lot of great content. Do not fret. Yeah, the season stinks, but we've still got some very good content for you. Some of it may make you quite miserable at times, but it's some good stuff, and it's good to know what's going on and realize all the positive things that could be coming for the future as well. So definitely take that stuff out and come back here for the podcast every single Thursday. Go Bengals.